yeah. There we go. There we go. We started. Hey, let me get this in the right place. There we go.
That's right.
Because we're totally going to edit this later. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon if you're where I am in the Europe, in the UK, in the Europe region. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to the Tellman and Fellman Show. My name, of course, is Harris Fellman, and over there,
Tellman Knutson. Welcome to the Tellman and Fellman Show. We have the extraordinary, the incredible, the astounding, the captivating Curt Molly, master of micro ad budgets, here today, and longtime friend. Curt and I go back quite a few years, and I'm really stoked to kind of take a little trip down marketing memory lane and check in on what you're working on now, Curt.
do I read the intro or no? We know read the intro.
Yeah, like read the intro. This is a good one.
All right, no, I didn't have this written in a sports announcer voice, so I don't know how it's going to come out. So you wrote it, or you had it written. I don't know. Introducing Curt Molly, or Molly. You pronounce it Molly?
Got that right. Yep.
All right. Introducing Curt Molly, the mastermind behind the BELT, B-E-L-T method, and one of the most sought-after experts in Facebook advertising and social media marketing. Curt's career took a wild turn when he was banned from Facebook ads for an epic 888 days. Sounds biblical. Yet, like a marketing phoenix, he returned to dominate the game, specializing in scaling campaigns from $100 to $10,000 daily budgets. Curt teaches entrepreneurs how to turn micro budgets into maximum returns. Whether you're a startup or seasoned business, Curt's strategies have proven to dramatically increase both short-term and long-term revenue. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, as we dive into Curt's game-changing insights on today's episode of Tellman and Fellman Show, episode 28. It's going to be one for the marketing history books.
Did Curt just get nervous and run away?
I was scared after reading that thing. I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I had to turn my fan on because I'm a big man.
So Curt mentioned that he likes magic and that he has a what's it called?
Flash paper.
He has flash paper, and then he has a wallet that opens and catches fire. But you don't even need that. You can just have fire coming from anywhere.
That's interesting.
Have one of these. I shaved a little bit extra with that one. I don't know if you saw it. I was definitely too close to it. I'm not used to being this close to my microphone. Don't try that at home. Or seriously, it's very smooth right here now.
I was doing ad videos, and I had my flash paper. I'm like, your ad budget can go up in smoke, and I threw the paper up, right, and the whole thing caught on fire. But then it landed on my desk where all the other paper was laid out, and then my desk started catching on fire. I got that on tape, but I ran that as an ad because I go, did I do that?
Oh man, I burned my fingers so many times with that stuff. So another thing you can do that's really fun is, you guys know these party poppers?
Yeah, absolutely.
They actually have a little spark inside. So if you open it up and you take it out and you put the flash paper underneath and then pack it all back in, it makes a huge explosion. So I like to do that on stage as well. I say that I've Americanized it, put a little gunpowder in there, get a good laugh internationally for that.
That's right.
That's great.
Anyway, I still smell my burning hair. So I'm gonna have some. I'm gonna have some tea, and we're gonna get into it, Curt. I recognize the BELT system. I feel like maybe I've read something or interviewed you. I've recommended you for the Facebook ad stuff. I've known of you and stuff, but like we said a moment ago, I don't think I feel like, maybe we could have crossed paths at a conference or something 10 years ago or something, but I bet we were on that. I bet we had to have been on that pirate ship with Tellman at the same time.
I wasn't there.
Jesse and I all rented that together. That was a three-part party, and Curt was one of the three legs of the pirate stool.
So just to be clear, I slept there one night. I actually never went to that party. You and I ended up getting a house the next year, where you and I and Jesse were. We had a party.
Pirate ship party?
No, I was throwing my own party at the time.
Oh, I remember you crawling up into that little crawl space in that pirate ship, and I was like, how the hell is Curt gonna fit in there?
That was just the three of us hanging out, having magical times.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Okay, no, that was different. Wait. Okay.
But maybe at TNC. Harris, I'm known for having parties at TNC that is very like invite only, just so we can have great conversations like this, where you're not yelling and screaming over people at the bar.
Yeah.
So could have been there as well too. I mean, never know. Ships in the night, probably in the same room.
That's right.
Yeah, probably. Although I can't keep up with the partying myself anymore, so I don't know what to do at those events.
It's go to bed early is the answer.
I like that.
No, I was actually on the phone just yesterday with Jesse Elder, Curt. I hadn't talked to him in a while, and we had a great conversation. I think we're going to bring him on Tellman and Fellman next week, maybe.
Great.
Yeah.
Jesse's a mystical, magical creature. Love that man.
So he does seem mystical and magical.
Yeah, he is.
He's kind of mystical and magical. So let's go back in time, Curt.
A little time traveling. Love that.
When did you first step into the internet marketing world? When did you dive into this space? And like, let's talk a little bit about origin story. Let's go over a little bit about, since you don't know Harris real well, where you and I crossed paths and some of our history, and then like bring it up to today. Like, what stayed the same, what's changed, and where are you at? So
I'll make the story pretty short. You just interrupt me if you hear anything interesting. So first of all, good morning, everyone. Just woke up out of bed. It was great. Love this place. So here's the origin story.
You're a new father-ish, a pretty new father.
Yeah, she's going to turn 2 literally next week at this exact time. So
remind me of your daughter's name, please.
Aurelia. Yeah, I post about marketing and her. That's pretty much about it. I don't take really food pics or anything. It's supposed to. So origin story, 2007. I decided to leave corporate America. I used to work for Apple and Microsoft. I used to run call centers and inside sales, and I decided corporate America wasn't for me. Now, in 2007, something really magical happened. That was called the home mortgage crisis. But see, the market was going like this. No, I mean, the market was going like that. So I got in, like right here. I was one of those guys that, well, everyone else made money. I didn't know. No one made money. I didn't make money. I didn't know what I was doing. And I ended up basically with a collapsed real estate business, but I learned to advertise it online a little bit. And coincidentally, how fate works or whatever, I walk into this radio show interview that I had paid $500 to be on. And what ends up happening is Mike Dillard's there. And I end up from doing a bunch of personal development. I knew that Mike was sitting off all by himself, not really saying anything because he's kind of an introvert, struck up a conversation, unequivocally changed my life. Shortly after that, we ended up meeting with Mike.
I didn't realize. So Mike Dillard was your portal.
Oh, absolutely. Because I didn't know anything about this. On the radio, you're going to like how this all lines up, Tellman. On the radio station, we're talking, and Mike's like, it's really interesting what we're doing. Because I just told him 2 weeks earlier, hey, I left real estate. I'm taking all my marketing experience, and I want to market for other people, like small businesses. I had got a couple of $250 clients, right? I had making no money. And I end up right on that radio show going down the elevator. Mike's like, hey, you should meet my friend David Gonzalez. There's a party in a couple of days. You should go to this party. Yep. And then I go to the party. The very first party was Wizard of Ads.
Oh my God. And you're talking about the internet marketing party, of course.
An internet marketing party here in Austin. I can see his face.
His name's also on. I've been to the freaking Wizard of Ads.
You've been to the Wizard Academy.
The Academy. What is his name? I can't remember. Whatever. Wizard of
Ads.
Is it Roy Williams?
Roy Williams. There we go. I see Roy Williams speak, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Well, over the next 3 or 4 months, I go out to this party every single month. I am not broke, but I am severely underfunded. So on the fourth party, I met this guy, Keith Baxter, who gave this amazing curation presentation. We decided to sell that to one of my first clients. And shortly after that, Mike Dillard asked me to be an affiliate for his new Elevation Group that I saw him make. This was a life-changing moment for me. I was at Mike's house when he launched Elevation Group. Oh. It was the first time I had ever seen someone make $500,000 in the course of an hour and a half. Right. While people were watching a recording that he was hitting refresh on the cart. It changed my paradigm. So all of a sudden I'm at this internet marketing party. I'm watching Mike make this money online, and I'm like, oh, I'm dedicated. I am 100% dedicated. And what ends up happening, to kind of put a tie on that story, is Mike had asked me to be an affiliate. He thought that I ran traffic online. I just knew how to post organic stuff and spam local review sites. Like, I didn't know how to market online. That was my very first Facebook ad. I was I was number 5 in his affiliate launch for just running my very first ads. All of a sudden, Mike hired me to run his social media, and I showed up to the internet marketing party, and they're like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I work with Mike Dillard." People are like, "What?" Well, I can work with you. I have an opening on my roster, and my world just opened up with internet marketing party. Awesome. That's where I met Tellman. My life changed forever. Yeah.
So Curt, you're talking to us on a Mac right now, aren't you?
That is true.
I saw, I don't know if you noticed it, but while you were talking, you accidentally did a hand signal. I know this has nothing to do with marketing. Did you notice yourself do it? Yes, do it.
So the problem is when I start talking with my hands, I'll do these things.
Yeah.
Sudden, the thumbs come up.
When I talk to Ross Goldberg, he does this, and it reads it as a thumbs up. And like, it's not doing it for me anymore. I don't know why it stopped, but I used to. Do you remember when you first like discovered it by accident? Like I was talking to my situationship. Actually, I was just telling you, and I was like, no, because she doesn't speak good English. I was like, no, the first one is this, and the second one is that, and then balloons start falling down, but I'm like, what the? I'm like, I literally was like, she was like, what did you do? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, at first I didn't see it, and then I did it again, like another day, and I was like, holy cow! But that was, I love that there was something like that we discovered. Anyway, so yeah, your thumbs up works, but we can't see it because it's off camera. But if you get one of the other ones in there, maybe later, maybe we'll do the. I like this one a lot. This one does the laser. Have you seen the laser show behind you?
Here,
two of them. You got to do two. You got to do two.
Aren't these
now we just look like there it is. Boom! Yeah. Come on. All right, so 2007, which awesome. Speaking of Apple, there was no iPhones until 2007 for everybody that's paying attention. I have one question for you during that story. You corrected yourself, or maybe you've done this for a long time. Instead of saying that I wasn't broke, I was underfunded. Is that a like a wordplay thing that you do? You're like, I don't like. Basically, you're saying. You were saying you were broke, but you decided to change the word and say underfunded because that has a more.
I wasn't broken. I just didn't have much money at that time. That was the point. Right. I did it when I was in network marketing for 4 years because I thought that was one of the greatest things ever. It taught me a ton about entrepreneurship and a lot of stuff about what I do.
Is one of the greatest things ever. Like it does. Yeah, it's a great building.
I've learned so much in marketing. If it wasn't for network marketing, I would have never got into this. I would have never got into my career.
Which one was it? We just had one of the kings of network marketing on yesterday, actually.
Yeah, we just had
Who was that?
David Wood from who started Empower.
Yeah, it was awesome.
200 million in sales. He's like, my first year we did 40 million, and I was like, well, that's some like basically that puts $500,000 in a half hour to shame, right? But like 40 million in your first year, I guess not. But anyway, it's still amazing. But do you remember which one were you in?
Hang on a second. I know. I will not say anything negative. I know a lot of history with that situation.
We asked him about it.
We went into it a little bit. Yeah.
Tellman was going to jump over it. I was like, Tellman, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about next? And he jumps to like, what are you doing now? And I'm like, what?
At the end of the day, it was a Ponzi scheme. Like there's no other way to say it.
Empower was a
Ponzi scheme.
Most network marketings are, but I think from his perspective,
totally.
I think it turned in.
Did you just say you weren't going to say anything negative?
Hey, I'm just being really honest. Every villain in their own story is a hero in their own story. I'm not saying he's a villain, but when people get on stage and have people invest their life savings into something that they know is collapsing, that's fraud, and I'll never not talk about that. And I thought that was so like, yeah, I've seen some other fraud that's popped up with some individuals like that or that person recently, and I'm just like, oh. Cat does the same thing again. So anyway, I'll move on for that because I don't respect those people at all. So we'll just be really direct here. So here's what ends up happening. I did a bunch of self-development. I was working in this company called Nuva Reach. It was for real estate. Taught me a ton of things about real estate. The owner of that company, Jim Piccolo, exact same thing. Ponzi scheme. He walked around, drive around Rolls Royces, telling everybody how it was great. And then yelling at people why they needed to invest their life savings, why people that he recruited were crooks that took a bunch of people's money. So I saw the stage and lights up front where I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. But then I started meeting friends like Tellman and other people where you start understanding and knowing these people backstage and you're like, That's not what happened. Oh my God, you had $100 million company and 998 million was fraud. What? Like, I started learning these stories, and quite honestly, that's why I never got into joint ventures. I did a lot of paid traffic because I wanted to build deeper relationships with people like Tellman. And now this will be just really direct here. I like Tellman because we've known each other for I think it's over 15 years at this point, and we've had a consistent relationship. I've never defrauded him of money. He hasn't defrauded me of money. We have mutual clients. We all have mutual respect.
We've helped each other out on a few different projects. Like
absolutely, and that's what I'm interested in building relationships with. So when we start talking about history of marketing, sometimes I'm like, man, I've been in those back rooms. I'm happy to talk about it, but
are you sure you want me to?
I have some strong opinions. They're called facts, and I'm happy to talk about them. So I did a lot of personal development when I was in network marketing. That helped my mindset a lot. So as my business collapsed from real estate and I started moving online, I started to apply a lot of those mental principles of how I would think about my day instead of like, oh, woe is me, what's going on? Learned a lot about brain science, a lot about the words that are coming out of my mouth are super important on what my brain reads that you guys all know. And again, one of the reasons I kind of fell in love with a man crush with Tellman, the things that he could do with hypnotism, like just, I've always been fascinated with the way that his brain works. So yeah, love this stuff.
Curt, let's talk a little bit. So you got into Facebook ads and you were running ads for Dillard. You got a few clients and you started making money, and seeing Dillard do his launch like opened your eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally makes sense. And so, and by the way, like, I just want to say, you got really lucky. Like, that's really cool that you met a guy like Mike in that kind of. I mean, you took action on it too. You didn't just ignore it or whatever. You know what I mean. You fostered the relationship. So, but like, man, so to meet someone in your local town who like will
it gets better.
Wing and help you, like, it's amazing. And then David Gonzalez, and like being invited that quickly to like the internet marketing, but it's just like that's an extraordinary kind of event.
I met Mike on the radio show. We were supposed to have coffee that next week and kind of talk about what's my online business doing, how could he help me do that. That meeting never happened. 3 days later, coincidentally, me and my business partner run into Mike at the local coffee shop. Mike's like, oh, I wanted to set up a meeting with you anyway. Let's just sit down and talk. And I'll never forget this. Mike goes, if you would like to have a $10 million company in the next 24 months, I'll show you how to do it. I just want to sit on the board and I'll take 10%. Again, I was highly underfunded and couldn't afford beer when I went out to go buy the speaker's beer at Internet Marketing Party. So I'm like, this is the greatest thing in the world. Mike helped us create our very first online program, which we sold tens of $20s of dollars of, called Social Media in 7 Minutes.
Tens of 20. My first few attempts were not successful.
Horrible
either, stuff, like.
So what ends up happening is we go to Mike's house. Every once in a while, we would go to Mike's house and he would help us a little bit. And then he would check in with us 4 or 5 weeks later. Like, it was nothing formal, but like we'd be driving to his house and he'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot we have a meeting with someone else. Okay, like we didn't get offended. We just, any opportunity he had. After about a year, we launched our product and we go, hey, Mike, it's time to sign some documents, turn this into a company. And Mike goes, oh, I don't want any of you guys' money. I just wanted to help you out. I liked you guys. Maybe you can run my social media and I'll tell some of my friends about you. And like, it was just one of those things. If we could just help serve him and he could serve us. And yeah, Tellman, you're right. That timing was just universal.
It's like the universe was conspiring in your favor completely.
Oh, I do want to throw something at you while I'm thinking about it. So you just kind of like, you just kind of slam some of the, some of the backroom information that you've gotten. And then part of your intro that I read said that you were banned from Facebook for 888 days. So are you being a hypocrite? Like, what did you do? What did you do to get banned from Facebook, Mr. High and Mighty?
This is great. Great. Let's talk about getting banned from Facebook, right? So at the time, this is 2014. I have 15 employees in Austin, Texas. We work in something called the Black Box Bunker, where we essentially are in downtown Austin in this basement with no windows that you had to get a back door to get inside. Whole other story. So we were running ads for ClickFunnels at the time. We were running ads for Lead Pages, San Antonio Spurs, Mike Dillard, Evan Pagan, John Maxwell. I can keep on going on the list for all these people we're running ads for. Well, at the time, still like today, Facebook has no support, almost no support whatsoever. So what would happen is people would be like, hey, Curt, I got my account down. Okay, well, I'm running in these all these other masterminds now at this point, right? Sharing a bunch of my information about selling stuff online. And now Ryan Dice, for example, is recommending people when they get their ad account shut down, go talk to Curt. Curt will figure it out. Now, what I essentially did is I basically told people, this is going to be a really complicated part of the story. I go, read the terms of use. Don't say that you have a claim. And then people didn't get their ad shut down anymore. So we started an education part of my business. So we had education, we had group coaching, and then of course we have the agency. Well, it gets to the point where I had at one time, it was something like 35 different support tickets open with Facebook that I couldn't get any reply back to. Like, it's the San Antonio Spurs. I'm just looking for an answer. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Well, one of my employees says, hey, Curt, I know someone at Facebook. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I met with this person at Facebook and I literally said, hey, look, I know people who pay Facebook rooks and hookers, cocaine, private jets, and trips to Vegas. And that's not what I'm looking for. I'm an ethical business that I really want to help people. We have good people that bad things are happening and I'm looking for customer support. This rep says, okay, you have so many questions. I'm going to help you on the side. As long as you don't violate any terms of use or anything with your contract, sounds great to me. She was a contractor at Facebook. Once she was done with the contractor, she came to work for me to help design some ads, give me a little insight. And again, I'm like, I don't need to know the back end stuff. Like, I don't need any proprietary information. I just need help. That's all I'm looking for. So she worked for me for 2 days and I got a cease and desist from Facebook. I was the 100th person to get a cease and desist. I was not allowed to touch Facebook my own. I could not use a third party to touch Facebook. I could not have any employees touch Facebook because everything we're about ready to talk about, there is no case precedent around. So there's a lot of antiquated laws. So once I got that cease and desist, if I was to Google Facebook and click on the link, they would take that as a threat to their servers. So they had to remove me because of some old antiquated laws.
This is because you hired an ex-employee who was kind of maybe breaking what they considered an NDA and a non-compete.
You're one of the first people that picked that up. So what happens is this person internally at Facebook was a contractor, but they wanted to be an employee. So they were already butting heads on a bunch of internal issues. I show up, ask some questions that she starts to dig into. It's not like there was one big thing that she did. Ryan Dice sent me an email that referred me over to someone. Again, Ryan doesn't even probably know this story. And I followed up with my rep and I said, hey, will you look into this ad account on why it was turned off? What happened? And she replied back in an email that said, I just flipped it back on. And I replied back and I go, well, there's no value flipping it back on. They want to understand what happened and they're not even a client. So I'm not asking you to do any favors. And she replied back, for what you pay me, it took me about 71 cents out of your pocket to turn on someone else's account. And I'm like, so they were already butting heads at Facebook. So when she came to work for me, Facebook says, she gave you proprietary information that benefited your clients. And I'm like, what? And they go, well, you have to prove that to us. Prove what? She gave you confidential information. What information did I get that I couldn't get off Google? And they're like, no, Curt, we're not here to argue with you. You're banned. But I didn't do anything wrong. That's not our responsibility, and you need to figure your own stuff out. So what ends up happening, Harris, you don't know this part of the story. So what ends up happening is I had an interesting experience in my apartment. One of the reasons I had this poster behind me. Tellman knows the story. Yeah, actually, I'll just tell you, because I don't care. I'm an adult. You see what that picture is right up there? Right here is your brain sober. That's your brain on psilocybin.
Okay.
So with my experience that I had, I woke up in the morning and I went to our lawyers that we were just throwing money in a trash barrel for, because there's no case precedent. So you need 3 high-powered lawyers to be in the room so they can all figure it out at $750 each for each lawyer. Yeah, that adds up pretty quick. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we need hours of discovery. So I walked into the office and I go, I'm selling my business. And the lawyers go, huh? I'm going to sell it to Molly Marketing. It's my last name. And they go, you can't start a new marketing business. And I go, no, my little brother's had a traditional ad agency for 5 years before me. So I'm going to sell my business. I'm going to be the salesperson. I won't have any employees. I won't touch Facebook. I won't do anything. So now all of a sudden I walk into the internet marketing party or traffic and conversion and people are like, dude, you got banned from Facebook. Yeah, but we still run ads. You mean you run ads? Not me. I'm not allowed to touch it. But my brother has 15 employees in Nebraska. So if you want to know what's going on behind the scenes and you want me to run some ads, our staff will do it. Harris, we had 300% growth, and I realized that my brother's a better manager than I am. So he runs the agency. I make a better profit margin. So because of the lawsuit with Facebook, I ended up partnering with my brother. And then when Facebook allowed me to come back on, and I'm happy to tell that story. Oh, by the way, I have a signed agreement with Facebook. No one else has this. This is something to be proud of. It has 9 bullet points. I can pull it up for you. One of the bullet points is that I will not violate any terms of use with Facebook. Otherwise, I'm susceptible to a $40,000 fine paid within 7 days of issuance of invoice, period. So if I was to misspell my name on my profile, if I was to log into Tellman's profile as a joke and post a picture, if I was to get an ad disapproved, all of that would qualify underneath the $40,000 fine. Now, I've never got a fine. We have not had an ad account shut down in over 7 years for any of our clients. I can touch Facebook. I can run Facebook. But for 3 years, I was legally banned from Facebook. So people are like, I got kicked off. And I'm like, oh, no. I had one of the top lawyers in the country come after me. And he actually ended up becoming my ally. And that is how I got back onto Facebook, because of Facebook's hired attorney gave me some insight on how to get back on.
Wow.
Cool. Wow.
Very interesting.
Story.
Okay, so
Crazy story.
So no fraud on my part.
No fraud on your part.
Nope. Not my background.
The truth. Cool.
It's a little psilocybin, but
I'm totally open about it. It used to be like, this is bad. No, it changed my life completely.
So Curt, these days, I mean, several years ago, you developed the philosophy and strategy of the belt method for running Facebook ads, and then I know that you evolved that strategy as shorts and reels and short form video became popular. You adapted that and have been teaching people how to create organic content in a similar way in terms of how you taught them how to distribute ads and how to use both organic and ads. And now you have this whole micro budget thing that's really catching fire and blowing up and taking off. And so I would love to hear a little bit about where things are at from your perspective, being in the marketing game for 15 years plus or minus, having gone through and seen a lot of the changes, not just in Facebook, but the entire landscape of the internet. And you've been running ads and teaching people how to run ads as your primary thing for a long time, like a decade and a half. So
yes, sir.
Where do things stand from your perspective, and what are you actually sharing with people and teaching people how to do at this stage in the game?
Great question. So a little bit of backstory with that beautiful thing right back. Oh, where did I get? Right there. The belt right there. So a little story on the belt, what this is, and the whole kind of belt method is I was invited by Todd Brown to Agora Financial Publishing. There was 40 other media buyers, ClickFunnels, just lots of other great media buyers there. And essentially, Todd Brown was going to award this belt to whoever had the best idea that was duplicatable, that was proven, that was documented. I love this stuff, so I really, I don't know how to say it. Like, I politicked for myself to get the belt, told everyone I was going to win the belt. I was a politician. People are like, why do you want the belt so bad? I'm like, you have no idea, because I always like wrestling. So once I won the belt and I'm carrying it through the airport,
hold on. Can you go grab the belt and actually
it's right here?
Yeah, I know, but to bring it into the camera.
It's on a display.
You see it.
Oh, it's on a display, Tellman. It's on a display.
Oh, I see. You can't just pick it up.
I mean, let's see.
And then it's going to take him a half hour to put it back. Come on.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No,
Okay.
Well, it's too late now. He's already moved it.
Look at all the LEDs.
Yeah, actually, the way this whole thing's tied in, I'd have to untangle it.
Okay. I'm asking too much.
It's okay. So here's what
did you come up with BELT to win the belt, or after you won the belt? Is that how you won the belt?
So yes and no. So here's one of the reasons I love Tellman. Tellman likes complicated stuff, and sometimes teaching complicated stuff to the masses doesn't sell very well.
True.
So I would always want to be like, oh, hey, let me tell you about all these things that I'm doing on Facebook. It's the coolest thing in the world. And if you do these 55 things, well, once I won the belt, I got to detour this story real quick. I go out to traffic and conversion. This is like 2 weeks after I win the belt. And all of a sudden, everyone wants their picture taken with the person with the belt. So all of a sudden, I am all over social media for traffic and conversion. People are like, hey, so I know lots of people. So it's like John Benson gets a picture. I take a picture with Molly Pittman. Tellman's there. I take a picture with all these people that get tagged. There's this whole long story. And then
Molly and Molly.
Absolutely, she's one of my best friends. I love her. So I throw this party usually every year for TNC, and it's invite only. It's not like a black tie thing. It's like, hey, I want to have good conversations in less than 100 people. So it's not a +1.
Yeah.
It's invite only, straight up. Tellman's been to a lot of them. At this party, I'm ready to take pictures with all of my friends with the belt, and the belt is stolen, literally from my party. And some people are like, oh, Curt, did you do that? No. So the next day, day 3, I ran ads at TNC with a milk box with my belt on the back of it saying, have you seen my belt? Todd Brown felt bad because the belt was never recovered, got me in another belt. So this is actually 2.0. So the belt took on another story because it was stolen. So my business partner and I sat down and we're like, dude.
Wait, somebody that was at your party still has that belt?
Or they threw it in a trash can, or they threw it on a roof, or we have no idea whatever happened to it. No one has ever come forward. And these are all this isn't like you're invited to a party and 5 people walk in with you. Like there's somebody at the door that there's a list that they check on. They get a phone call if there's an extra person.
Everyone was invited.
Everyone.
Private invite, yeah.
So maybe it was one of my friends who was like, hey, this is going to be a funny joke. So
maybe they didn't finish the joke. Maybe they thought they were going to do, like, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, oh, whoever did it, come on, it's time. It's been a couple years.
Like, one would hope they feel really bad and are
somebody knows. We forgive you. What is it? It's Forgiveness Day. It's Belt Forgiveness Day. Please, if anybody's watching.
Or somebody has it in their house and they're like, man, someday I'm going to show this to Curt and it's going to be funny. So
you are welcome to be interviewed. Whoever has it, we want it sitting back in the back room, just like Curt has it. Anyway, go ahead. So you got it.
Whoever has it, if you're watching, we'll bring you and Curt on together, but you can be in different locations and we'll mediate the discussion.
Yes.
Seriously, we want
to. So Eric, to go back to your thing is my business partner and I sat down and we're like, well, oh my goodness, like can this maybe explain a lot of the stuff that we do? Well, breakthrough advertising, Eugene Schwartz, it really comes down to belief, engage, lead, and transact. Oh my goodness, now I can explain all this complicated stuff that I have for years with 4 easy bullet points and this Nacho Libre or Libre, whatever, right? Like these Mexican wrestlers, we can have fun with it. It turned into a $5,000 course. And what ends up basically happening is the belt method at the time, 5 years ago, 90% of it's still relevant today. We started advertising like traditional media, multiple exposures, video views, images, blog posts, and leads and conversions. Well, most of our friends was just doing direct response. In my opinion, us as marketers doing this time, 2014, 15, 16, 17, a lot of people got a lot of money from doing a lot of really great direct response. Well, then privacy issues start to happen with Facebook. The social dilemma comes out of how Facebook's using your data. And then iOS happens, right? And iOS, just to be clear, was not Apple saying, we're going to protect your privacy. Apple's setting up their own ad network. So they wanted to cut Facebook off at the knees for their ad network so they can make their own. And at this time, a bunch of my friends who were running direct response, they're like, oh my God, the sky's falling because we can't target people and we can't track. And I'm like, none of our belt method clients are having issues because we're not relying on direct response that if someone doesn't click the ad, we don't make money. For us, if someone clicks the ad but they don't buy, they're going to see what we call ethical propaganda. They're going to see testimonials. They're going to see case studies. They're going to see blog posts. So when a lot of my friends were just retargeting of, hey, did you buy my stuff? Did you buy my stuff? Did you buy my stuff? Our value proposition was like, let's just take like 10 to 15% of your budget. Let's run engagement like an actual business would. And when we do that, people will recognize our brand. So when tracking breaks, people are still buying, but I can't see the tracking specifically. So what ends up happening is the belt explains a lot of these traditional things that people were doing, but people, in my opinion, a lot of friends that we mutually have got really spoiled in direct response because they were able to say the right thing at the right time. And now that landscape's changed. Right. Privacy's changed, tracking's changed. Well, one of the big fundamentals about the belt method is you got to be producing content. So 18 months ago, the only way I could work with a client, like let's say Tellman and I were going to work together, I'd be like, okay, Tellman, I want a bunch of testimonials. Can you do me? We're going to be talking about your course, how to get stuff done. I know that's not the actual name, but how to get stuff done. Can you give me some clips from that course? Can we highlight what I call ethical propaganda that these people who did not or buy, that they start to see we're building the brand? Well, a lot of people either produced content because they liked it or they didn't. Now, 18 months ago, this thing called AI I don't know if I told you guys. I recently I got my PhD in AI. Have I told you guys this? You guys know this? A lot of people don't have a PhD in AI. I do. It's called a public high school diploma. So I'm going to duct tape and bubble gum this shit together, and it just works. So now with AI, we can get clients to easily write them a script that they can record on their iPhone that have captions put to it right away. We can have faceless videos that we create. We can create blog articles, emails, landing pages, now at the touch of a button. And it gets better every single day, which I want to talk about some AI tools. Well, now people can make a bunch of content at the touch of a button. So Tellman alluded to, I can show people how to create this exactly right here. 45-minute interview between us three. Run it through 4 AI tools. We call this our content on autopilot. Our interview for 45 minutes will turn into over 400 raw videos that are cut into 1-minute segments that highlight the best clips, that are ranked from the best clip to the worst clip, that are already edited, that already have the captions on them, that already have B-roll on them. And even if you can even post from these sites directly too, but if out of 400 videos done by AI, if 200 of them are good, 200 give you like 2 to 3 posts a day for the month on every single social media platform from one 45-minute interview. And you guys are doing interviews once a week, or you guys are daily, right? So like as you start playing with AI, and I'd love to talk about how to cut some of this stuff up, all of a sudden you have tons of content.
Endless.
Now what's interesting though is kind of a follow-up on this, Tellman. I had a great conversation with John Moreau. For you guys, you know John.
Hang on, you're going too fast. You're going too fast.
I'll slow down.
There's a couple things I want to cover. First of all, we do not get you off of this call until you talk about. So we we know a little bit about it. We do have plans to repurpose these daily interviews that we're doing. I only know about being able to kick out maybe 100. No, I mean like 10 or 12 different pieces of content. I've talked to Earl Flormata, and he has a system where it's like 120 different. So I'm super interested, super interested in that. Before I get to that, you said something that both Tellman and I, our ears probably both perked up at the same time when you talked about the idea that you're doing something that's not, you don't consider it direct response. So you're saying that when you're doing something, when you've got a lot of engagement, that means you're putting a lot of content out and people are learning about them, about the brand or the product in different ways, and they're interacting with that video or that survey or whatever piece of content they're engaging with. You don't think of that as direct response, because you're calling direct response an ad that says click here, buy here. That's the direct response aspect of it, whereas you're putting up smoke aside from that, but there's still direct response components in what you're doing. And when you do Facebook ads, are you advertising a lot of the content that you're talking about? Like if we took this and we whatever, well, I'll tell you the things we know about. I use Descript. Tellman knows about Opus. We get a dozen 1 to 2 minute pieces, clips from this. We look at 12 of them. We like 6 of them. We post them somewhere. Do you use Meta to amplify that? Like so just. That's where I want to hone in on you. I want to hone in on you saying, I didn't. We're not doing direct response with Belt, with belief, engagement, lead, transaction. We're doing something different. I want to understand a little bit more on why it's different, because I'm not going to lie. I got myself like, I understand it all, but I'm spoiled, and I can't be anymore. Clearly. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll get. There's a couple of different stories that I have in here. So the first thing is I'll tell the story real quickly. I used to work in call centers. We used to work for AT&T, was one of our clients, and AT&T at the time, they were selling it was bundled services like cable. It was cable internet. That's what it was, cable internet and regular cable. Well, then Dish came along and took a whole bunch of their business. AT&T didn't care because they were so big. They just acquired customers and turned and burned them. They didn't care about customer service. They would get as many customers as possible. Well, I started to do inbound customer service for Comcast Cable. I ran like their first retention division. Here's what happened. So if you disconnected your cable, we would call you and say, oh, Harris, we noticed that you're moving because you disconnected your cable. I just need your new address and I'll hook you up. No, I went to Dish. What? Why? What happened? Oh, no. And we'd collect information. And then would we get people started on Comcast at like, let's just get you started at like $15 for basic cable. And then we would upgrade them for another $5 a couple of months later, upgrade them later. Well, here's what happened. Twofold. One, Comcast was able to charge more on that lifetime value of the customer because they worked with the customer and didn't just turn and burn them. The second thing is Comcast ended up buying AT&T later because they had more revenue. So what I always kind of learned was direct response. Yes, I'm going to study in direct response. Great question here. But the problem is I would see people like right now, perfect example, wide open market targeting. I'm just going to target wide because that's what Facebook tells us to do. Okay. You two both know this. 99% of the people out there running ads don't really know how to write copy. So how are they going to write copy for this really broad audience that Facebook's going to figure out from their horrible copy that's really broad? Like, that's not going to work. And what a lot of people would do is they would just do this direct targeting and then retarget of, did you buy my stuff? Did you buy my stuff? You didn't buy my stuff? You should see another ad to buy my stuff. Well, that's not what big companies do, right? What big companies do is, yeah, you're going to buy things from them, and I am going to run direct response. But depending on what we're doing, anywhere between 10 and 30% of our ad budget is going to be made for engagement. So like, let's fast forward to today for a perfect example. Then I'll get into your content question. So let's fast forward to today. Facebook tells everyone you should target broadly. And I go, no. Facebook says you should start with a big budget and let it run for a week. No. And people are like, well, but that's the way that you make Facebook work. Well, I use AI to find me very specific targeting, number one. They're cohorts. This is the way that Google does stuff. You figure out, who are the people that like stuff together, and those are the types of people you target. You can target interest cohort groups on Facebook. Do this all the time. Well, if I know the person that I'm targeting, and I use AI to build out my marketing avatar so I know who to speak to, there's the balloons when I get passionate, right? So now I can tell AI, hey, AI, based off my offer, based on the goals of my offer, and the 38 different psychological triggers that I have with my individual customer, I would like to write persuasive copy that unites the targeting, my landing page, the right emotional triggers for someone to make a buying decision. I'm looking not to sell the click, I'm looking to pre-qualify and pre-sell the conversion. So now I get copy that talks directly to some emotional triggers of the people I'm targeting. So here's where I frame it up. Imagine I'm targeting the right person. I'm targeting with the right message. I'm targeting with a video. Let's say it's 90 seconds long. And if you watch at least half of the video, you are absolutely pre-qualified for my service, right? I'm talking about Facebook ads, how great they are. If you watch half of that 90-second video, there's a good probability that you're going to like my product. If I have all of those things combined and someone doesn't buy, they just didn't see the right message, but I did everything to get it in front of the right person. So now if I just take 10% of my budget and I start running, let's say, a bunch of content like you all have in 1-minute clips, I can run this content for $1 a day, retargeting the 95% of people who didn't buy right away. I know they're the right target. I know it's the right person. I know it's the right copy, but they haven't seen the right message. So now if what I do is we use an organic that Tellman said before and a paid version of this. Organic. Okay, guys, let's record this long video here. Let's cut it into 1-minute clips. Let's post 2 to 3 times a day all across social media, okay? Now, the next thing that's going to happen is once a week, we're going to find the 2 to 3 posts that had the most organic reach. So you can see this in the back of your Facebook or in Instagram or in LinkedIn, right? You're going to see all these different posts. The algorithm works like an upside down funnel. So what ends up happening is, this works as kind of the algorithm for all the social sites. What's going to happen is you're going to just imagine this is a full funnel. That's you. There we go. That's a full funnel. What's going to happen is as soon as you post a piece of content, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever, it's going to show it to a small crowd to see how they engage with that content first. Exactly. And if people engage, it keeps on going up. So what's going to happen is Harris, you're on mute.
Harris, you're muted, dude. Harris, unmute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've seen like 3. Like it's like I've seen that exact graphic. Like it shows like they show it to about 300 people, then they show it to 3,000. If they got good results from the 300, right, then they show it to 10,000 and up. Yeah,
that's right.
So it's like an upward spiral.
Absolutely. Great way to say it. So what ends up happening is we take a look at your stats, and once a week we find the 2 or 3 posts that had the most organic reach. I don't care about likes or shares. I care about organic reach because that gives me early signals from the algorithm that, hey, these are the posts that the algorithm really liked. So then next what I do, and I always bring this name up. This guy's name's Dennis Yu. You should absolutely interview him sometime. Dennis has been around for 20 plus years online. He was one of the top, I think, first 100 employees at Yahoo. He's been around forever. He talked about this strategy called a $1 a day strategy that I have just run crazy with. He taught me this years ago. So essentially you take your best content and you retarget it for $1 a day to the people who didn't buy or who are in basically kind of your trust funnel. Dennis uses this $1 a day strategy where he meets someone who books speaking events. He'll put him into a custom audience. So he's always running these $1 a day ads of him speaking on stage, content of him backstage in front of all of these people who book events. See, when you run $1 a day, it sounds really cheesy, but let's just say, for example, you guys have 10 different videos that are running for $1 a day, okay? The algorithm works like this. We talked about the organic algorithm. Now here's the paid algorithm. Facebook basically is going to say, okay, what do you want to do? You want to run a video view ad? I'm going to click that button. And Facebook says, okay, you want to run a video view ad? Great. Who's the audience that you want to target? And as soon as I choose my audience, Facebook is going to give me a price without even seeing my ad creative. Now, a price to run that ad, CPM. And the second thing is Facebook's going to look at my ad copy, my video, and my image, and Facebook's going to determine, like it's a crystal ball, what do they think is going to happen with this creative? Are people going to engage with it based off this creative and other ad creatives? Will people engage with it? Because if I want video views, Facebook wants to make sure it's a good video that people will actually watch, and then Facebook will serve it to more people for an ad at a lower cost, right? So if I run this $1 a day, now I'm telling Facebook, look at this shiny dollar. You only have $1. Here's my audience that you can retarget. Now Facebook goes out and finds, because the algorithm will find the right person at the right time, where literally they'll be like, man, Tellman, I can't tell you. I was praying about this last night. I woke up in the morning and I scrolled through Facebook and I saw this interview clip, and you guys were talking about, now, all politics aside, there was a president that was elected because of his direct response. The more angry you make someone, the more that they vote. We call it ethical propaganda because we're taking content that we know that organically worked. We run it for $1 a day. All of a sudden, these 10 different videos that you're running for $1 a day, the average person will only see 3 or 4 videos in a month. They'll never see the same thing. So now they open up their news feed. When they're scrolling, they're not saying, hey, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. They're seeing content that Facebook knows they like, some other content. They are going to see some ads about an upcoming comedy thing that you're doing, an upcoming new book release that's going on. So you're like popular because you're basically pushing the algorithm to the right person at the right time. So our value proposition is, hey, look, if you're going to do a direct response, great. But 98 or 94% of people won't buy from you right away. So if you did your targeting and your copy and everything else, you could literally spend 10% of your budget to re-engage these people that now that they see your brand over and over and over, that they end up buying because you build trust. So with AI, we can now produce a bunch of content, run it for $1 a day, and I'll make this really quick, the last step. For $1 a day, in 5 days, I can see, do people watch the video? Did they stop at the hook? Did they watch the entire video? Oh, this video may be really good to use as a conversion ad for $20 a day to start my micro budgets. So I turn $1 a day into $20 a day conversion ads, and I'm literally targeting the right person at the right time with the exact ad that they want to see. Micro budgets start to work, and I can go from $100 a day and spend to $4,000 in 4 days.
So let me just go back real quick to there was 3 things before.
Hey, Harris, a little too close.
Oh.
I think it might sound better on your desk than up in your mouth.
Is this better?
Well, I mean, it's less blown out.
No, I'm just kidding. Before we got to the $1 a day part, there were three types of ads that you would run to find the people to retarget. So there was you talked about an interest, a cohort, like finding an interest group, and you somehow use AI. You use your own AI to find that.
No, I use ChatGPT. So I'll give you it from a high level view. Basically, I'm giving away everything, and if people really wanted to learn it, they can learn this from me, right? So here's basically what this is. So what I do, I'll give you a perfect example. We're working someone in the personal development niche. They do a webinar every single Saturday. The problem is the last person who was running their ads did a lot of really wide targeting, a lot of lookalike audiences, so really cheap leads, but no one was showing up and no one was buying because they weren't targeting the right person at the right time. Now, a lot of people say, well, Curt, interests don't really work in Facebook. Well, there's a lot of interests that have been taken away, but Google targets by cohorts. So I type into AI, for example, hey, AI, this is the first thing that I do. I create something called an AI promotional primer. And it's basically a 50-page document that AI helps me create on 5 of my radically different avatars who would be interested in my offer. And it's basically my value proposition, my USP. It writes some copy for me. So I have this big, long document. It's kind of like my North Star for my avatar, my program, my product, who's it's for. I upload that into AI and I say, okay, these people are interested in motivation, to keep it easy. Here's this document. Can you suggest for me 15 different targeting interests that I may pursue that would directly tie in with the emotional triggers of my perfect marketing avatar? So now Facebook's going to give me 15 different types of interests to go over. Let me give you a perfect example. Motivational books. Okay, so who wrote Think and Grow Rich? Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill doesn't write financial books. So if I can target Napoleon Hill or any of his books on Facebook, that's a cohort. Now I can go after authors of motivational books or very specific motivational books because I'm selling a motivational webinar. So I'm getting people who I know are reading or they're watching something. So I'm not targeting just motivation. I'm targeting people who watch The Secret. I'm targeting people who read Think and Grow Rich. So those are cohorts. So I know that I'm not targeting some algorithm that Facebook said target wide audience, and I don't know who I'm targeting. I know exactly who I'm talking to. So I challenge people, hey, look, Facebook tells you to target wider because I want you to envision this. Facebook is a casino. Casinos were not built on the backs of winners. So it's easier for Facebook to extract your money if they say, Russell Brunson's the best at this. You're just one funnel away. Oh, that's the gambling addiction. Gambling addiction is not how much money I won. I believe I can make it back up. So when Facebook does this wide open targeting, if I just try again, it's going to work. And I'm like, quit trying, laser target who you want to talk to, laser target your message. And then when the message doesn't work, which is okay because of math, where 96% of people don't buy, let's then refigure out the message because you already targeted the right person at the right time. So I do cohort targeting. And then once my offer really starts to work, and then I broaden out my copy to kind of broaden my audience to really kind of scale my offer. But there's so many interesting cohorts out there. Most people have abandoned them because Facebook reps will say, don't target with interest, target wide open. 99% of the people watching this, including myself, don't write great copy for a wide open market.
Right.
And Facebook will steal your money from it.
That probably wouldn't even work for like the San Antonio Spurs. Like you probably still need to target down to people interested in
basketball.
Yeah, sports, yeah, at least. But even, yeah,
right?
I mean,
like for example,
in that area.
So when we were running ads for a local sports team here that was a sister team of the San Antonio Spurs, we started to take a look at, well, all the people who are fans are already coming out. So how do you get the inception seed? How do you get someone where they're like, man, well, wait a minute, I can take my entire family of 5 for only $10 and drinks there are only $5. I can have an entire family night for under $50. I had no idea. Well, that's a whole other new market that we open up to, right? So what we're always looking to is, okay, let's look at the different types of marketing avatars. Everyone typically says, let's say, hey, we're selling San Antonio Spurs tickets. Everyone says, well, I want to go ahead and sell this to basketball fans. So does every other sports team. But if we targeted people who like street basketball, if we targeted families within a 5-mile radius and told them it was only $50 to have a family night, now we're opening up the market who are more interested specifically in your product, and we're not competing against all the other advertisers who are going straight after basketball fans, for example.
Well, what I really like too, I mean, like obviously the San Antonio Spurs have budget. What I really like about what you're talking about is like, I mean, I don't think you're actually like, so I was going to say that the $1 a day technique is very attractive to everybody. You know, it's
everyone, or regardless of budget size.
To people with lower budget.
Everyone. Well, I spend $10 grand a day with.
It's attractive to anyone that has come to terms with the idea of spending money to grow your business is probably like a feasible path, right? Like if you're open to growing your business with paid advertising, then it's not anyone. Like
but the three things that you do first to create the retargeting audience are more than $1 a day. You know, that does cost, I presume, you know, somewhere in the, you know, $10 to $20 a day range to $5 to start off with, to start building that piece of the audience.
So
I run
$1 a day top of funnel as well too. Because if I run $1 a day strategy to a cold market, I know exactly who's going to see my message, who's going to see my video. And then basically when you target on Facebook, I like to explain to people, it's like targeting different learning modalities. So if I'm going to target people for leads, Facebook's going to go out and find the people who have a high probability of becoming leads. If I'm going to target for video views, Facebook's going to go out and find me people who want to watch videos. But what a lot of people say when they listen to my strategy, they go, so Curt, you're going to run one video and then retarget people who watch that one video to buy? No, that doesn't necessarily work because the audience is too small to just retarget. Facebook needs a big audience for conversion ads to work. My value proposition is, hey, I'm going to put videos top and middle of funnel that pre-qualify people, align their belief system with what we're talking about, what our products and solutions are. And essentially what's going to happen is these $1 a day videos are going to tell me, are people watching this content or not? And I'm pre-qualifying people. So I can test ad creative, audience, message testing with video views. So what a lot of people do is they start running conversion ads like you were mentioning before for $20. Let's just say $20 a day. Well, they start testing conversion ads top of funnel to a wide audience or maybe another narrow audience, but then you got to change the ad copy, but you don't know if the ad copy is working or the creative, but you know you got to split test that landing page because you're supposed to split test all the time. Now you have no idea what works or what doesn't. So my value proposition is you can test a lot of content for $1 a day to see how people respond to it. Once you see that that works, you go to that middle funnel audience that we were talking about before, and that's where I start testing my original conversion ads. Hey, these are people who've seen a lot of my content. Will they even buy this new book idea that I have? So what happens is we run some conversion ads middle of funnel. So we figure out ads that work with that warm market. So Harris, when we go to top of funnel, all we're doing now is we're taking proven ad creatives, proven copy. People already like this. Now I just have to test different audiences. I'm not testing different headlines in a cold market. I'm not burning ad spend testing all these different things in a cold market. I've already tested that to people who know, like, and trust me.
You know,
how does go ahead, Tellman?
Yeah, I was going to say, Curt, you know, I actually don't agree with you on it not really being direct response. Like,
good.
I do agree that this is a very branding like strategy. There are absolutely lots of branding elements. You're essentially running commercials on TV, like
100%,
right? Like,
yes,
like
sir.
eventually you're gonna see a Coca-Cola commercial while you're thirsty. You know what I mean? And you're gonna make the decision to buy a Coke the next time you're out or whatever. So there is that, but it's also really interesting because though the email marketing landscape has obviously changed dramatically in the last few years, it used to be build a big list and mail it every day and you make gobs of money. I mean, and people that weren't willing to build a big list and weren't willing to mail it every day made less money, right? But now building a big email list and mailing it every day doesn't work unless it's responsive. So we have to keep pruning people out and
adding people.
Right. And so the follow-up, like the whether it's a long-term email autoresponder sequence or whether it's you're in the habit of broadcasting daily or whatever, your strategy for following up with low budget on Facebook or otherwise by running the little video content or running testimonials, running snippets from longer videos, it seems to me it's a lot like following up every day with email, except
100%.
That's changed, right? And so
yeah,
now
email is retargeting, isn't it? Email list is retargeting.
But it's a more sophisticated and refined retargeting system, you know. So like it's really great. And I in the past when we've talked about this, my problem was that I wasn't creating consistent
enough content
to really plug into what you're doing. And the good news is now we are. So I'm very excited about taking this.
And even if we weren't, it's so easy too. Like even if literally, even if we weren't doing a show a day, I mean, we could do a show a week and end up with 400 pieces of content.
If
on that note,
yeah, that's right.
On that note, so what are the tools that you put together? Now, also before I get to that, really quickly, I don't really mean this as a shameless plug. Like, how does somebody listening get involved in the do you have a course? Do you have a course on doing the micro budgeting, this tactic, or and does it come with, or is it an upsell to get your 50-page how to make that 50-page 5 avatar yada yada thing that I'm very professional.
Oh yeah, actually, if you wouldn't mind, if this is okay with you, if you could give me 5 minutes, I will share my screen. I will show you all the tools to make 400 videos, and I want to show you this notebook MLM or LM that I think could be a huge.
So here's what we'll do. First of all, what's the website people should go to check your stuff out, Curt?
Just visit me on my personal profile on Facebook. You'll see a link.
Okay.
It's pretty easy. Follow me on Facebook.
Up Curt Molly on Facebook. Okay.
Yep. Actually, you know what? I bet I have a mic. You know what? I'll give you a link that you can actually share with people on Micro Budget Mastery. How's that?
That's great. And then I'm gonna change this up like this, maybe, or like this. No, let's see. How are we gonna do this? Let's see. I'll pull myself.
Great. I love this digital product stuff. All right.
Oh, now it's just you. You got a hashtag.
Hashtag. Look up Curt Molly on Facebook. And then Tellman,
no, that's your own hat. That's on your wall.
Oh yeah, that's on my wall.
Yeah.
It's like thumbs up. I got a hashtag.
Okay. So let me show you this here real quick, and then I'm gonna turn off my camera when I share my screen. Just so you can see my screen.
I've been hoping you turn your camera off this whole time, to be honest. No, actually, what I was thinking a little bit ago was, man, Tellman has been putting up a bunch of women making comments on somebody's page, like, "Hey, it's Tellman," or "Oh, hey, following," or whatever. I'm like, man, we've never gotten so many women to say hello to us during our live stream. So I think it must be you, Curt.
Woo, that's great. That's great. All right, let me go ahead and share the screen. Share my entire screen. We share this right over here. All right, can you see my screen? Oh, I got to make sure I present. How do I make sure that my screen shows? Actually, I think that's one of you guys, right? You put my screen on the
Tellman.
Yeah, I'm working it out. I'm working it out.
And Tellman, get rid of the look up Curt Molly on Facebook thing when you're done with all that. There we go. Oh, we have a screen. Wait, I got to go full screen on this. Everybody go full screen so you can see.
Right, there we go. Okay.
There it is.
So you can go check this out, Tellman. I sent you the link. It is yourad.coach. Well, I just sent you the link to several languages, right? If you want to throw it in there, it's completely up to you. So this is where I teach micro budgets. But let me kind of show you the first step that I do when I'm getting ready with a client ad. Now, I created something that's a super easy document. I'd be happy to give you guys access to this. This is part of my program, where Mike Dillard recently challenged me and said, "Hey, Curt, I want you to help get my people ready for Facebook ads, but you cannot show them the ads manager." And I'm like, well, let's design basically a creative brief that every client of mine should have, but no one does. No one thinks through these processes. So let's work through these processes. So essentially, you guys will watch like a 30-minute video here on how it works, but I'll make this really easy. What happens is you just come on down, step one, and I literally just copy this. I copy this line right here. "Hey, can you help me with this task?" I'm going to pull up ChatGPT. And when I go to ChatGPT, it should load here. There we go. All I have to do is copy and paste in, "Can you help me with this task?" And then on this document, I'm going to download this document right here. It's a living document. I'm always making updates to this. So these are kind of the prompts, right? So all we basically do now is I go in here and I'm going to go ahead and go to my Dropbox. And step one of the promotional primer, hit enter. And then I'm going to hit this button. Now, I'm not going to go through all the processes, but you'll see this here in just a second. So now what ends up happening is AI is reading all my prompts, and AI says, "Okay, so what do you want to do first?" Promotion type. Okay, so step one. hey, do you want to take screenshots of your funnel, or do you want me to ask you 25 questions about your funnel to get a better understanding? Or it's 15 questions. So what we do is I like to use this thing right here. It's called Nimble, Nimble, Nimble. It's a Chrome extension that allows you to take an image of like the entire page. So long form sales pages, you just click this button and it'll make this whole big picture that you literally just upload directly into AI. So for example, I have a long right here. Well, where's it?
Sounds like perfect for an automatic client style sales letter.
Yep, right there.
Yeah.
So now there we go. You're exactly right. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload that. Google's going to read the AI is going to read everything about the page. Great. Now what it's going to say is, hey, how do you want to create your avatar? Right? That'll be the next thing. So I go to this read me. I come down here. Hey, let's get started on my perfect marketing avatar. Next steps. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And then I would just put in the document here. Again, this is a 7-step process. Takes about 15 minutes to go through. I'll show you what the finished product looks like here in just a second. Upload the avatar. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I use something to cheat on this a little bit, and I'm going to show you how I cheat. Okay? So the AI is asking me, hey, do you have an avatar that you like that you want me to learn from, or should I ask you 20 clarifying questions? Now, with the advent of AI, I'm a little lazy. So I like to use, I don't know if you guys have used this yet, I like to use free ad copy.
No.
Okay, I'll send you a link because it's free. So, well, basically, you get credits. I'll just copy and paste the link in here. Where's this? Yeah, chat with everyone. There you go. I just put the link in there. So, what free ad copy is done by Stefan Georgi, the brilliant copywriter. Yeah. And basically, he created this platform. Well, by the way, when you can use some of my free credits, and then if you wait 3 or 4 emails, he'll send you an email for $97 for the entire year. Get us unlimited credits, which is great. Because basically what you can do is you can write, I'll show you just very, very quickly. Whoops, templates. Email copy, Facebook ads, YouTube ads. Here's the reason that we're here though, market research. I'm gonna click on this, build a better buyer. I'm gonna click on this. Tellman, who's your perfect market? Just give me a sentence.
Okay, great.
How to Get Stuff Done is your book.
No, let's do automatic audience.
Virtual summit system, yeah.
Automatic audience, the virtual summit system. And the ideal client is an author, speaker, coach, consultant, or entrepreneur who wants to grow their influence, grow their following, and grow their audience online.
Perfect. All right. So I'm going to click this button right here. I usually like to build out 2 of them, one from ChatGPT, one from Claude. But I'm just going to have it generate this. Now watch this. Okay, so you're looking for solar entrepreneurs, Alexandra, 35, 55 description. Now here's where it gets interesting.
Wait, Tellman, did you say solopreneurs?
Nope. I said entrepreneurs, but that's great.
No, I mean, we definitely are targeting solopreneurs, but I like that it did that.
Yep. The top 5 most powerful emotions around the problem: frustrated, feeling unheard, undervalued, envy towards peers with larger platforms. Top 5 biggest fears: never achieving success with the impact they dreamed of. 5 ways these fears affect key relationships: strain on the marriage relationship for constant stress. What does a hurtful thing that someone in these relationships may say? Your spouse. All this hustle and you're still not making money. So it taps into, right? Specific post transformation sound bites from relevant relationships. Spouse, babe, you were right to never give up on your dreams. So I basically take this right here, go over to GPT, I paste in this right here. Now what the GPT is going to do is it's going to start to learn from that type of format. Right. And essentially what's going to end up happening is, let me give you a really good example.
I just saw ChatGPT.
I do that all the time.
No, I thought you did it on purpose because of belt.
That would probably be a smart one. Yeah, if I did that. Yep. Let me just pull this up. Okay. So, whoops. the document starts to look, where's the one that I just put together for a client? I used AI to do this. So this is basically what the strategic brief ends up kind of looking like. AI will end up creating the promise, problem, solution, elaboration on the problem, elaboration on the solution, the audience. So let me give you an example. Here's one avatar for this. It's a Go mobile solution where it shows people how to build mobile apps for small businesses. Here's one avatar with all of their different emotional triggers. Second avatar, third avatar. So these are all different angles with different types of people, right? And then I have my sales argument, define your USP, potential offers that you may consider from what the AI has learned from. And then it will guide you through like next steps on, hey, here's what I would do for landing page headlines. It'll help write some copy and even give you image suggestions and audience suggestions. So what the goal ends up being is once you have this big document that's put together, again, within like 15 minutes, it's what I call my primer for everything. So what I mean by that is, let's say I want to do a video script for an upcoming offer. Okay, all I would do is attach my AI promotional primer, which is basically my creative brief. I'm going to upload this here, and then I would basically say, you know, write for me 3 90-second scripts that align with the emotional triggers of my perfect audience and my offer. Like that's all I'd have to type in, and all of a sudden it would start creating scripts for me. Typically, and then I program this too in your voice, in your tone, in your writing structure. So now it just becomes almost copy and paste for other ad platforms. Okay, so this will give me a bunch of ideas. For example, let's say I have my strategic brief or AI promotional primer. We have that here. Now, as soon as we're done with the interview here, for example, the first thing that I like to do, Harris, you had already alluded to this, is the first thing that I do is I just pull up Descript. It's the first thing that I do. And I take out all the ums and ahs and pauses with just a couple of buttons, right? And I click on the studio sound. So now that that's done, just the raw file, I'm going to go ahead and download that file that's been slightly edited. I know you can use Descript to help come up with clips. That completely makes sense. Well, then the other thing is I like to go to Opus Clips. And I know Tellman likes Opus Clips. Tellman and I have talked about this before.
You take the edited studio sound minus and then you put it into Opus. I always thought that Descript kind of used Opus on the back end, but on the background. But let's see if it's different.
Right. So essentially, what happens then in Opus is a couple of things. One, it's going to rank the best video to the worst video. It's going to give you this blurb right here. That's the transcript, right? Yeah. I take this transcript, copy it. So I would copy it, for example, come over here. I would upload my AI primer and paste it. And I would say, hey, create me social media posts for each one of these social media sites based off this transcription for this 1-minute video I want to post. So now all of a sudden, the AI is going to write content that's specific to this video and specific for my audience, those emotional triggers. So I use Opus Clips to give me a bunch of clips. I also use this description right here with our AI primer to write out all of our social media posts. And then I can just post from here, which is great. But I look at Opus Clips as just one editor. I look at Descript as one editor.
Where does Opus let you post to directly?
You can post directly right here, publish on social.
So like YouTube and Facebook or
all of them. Yeah, all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X. Yep, so that's easy. And then the next one that I like to go to is I like to use GetMunch. It's just like another video editor. That's it, right? And with GetMunch, for example, GetMunch is a little bit more on the YouTube side of stuff. But it's still going to create some really great content for you. Let's see. Okay.
Look, there's David Gonzalez.
We're full circle.
We run ads. Internet marketing party.
We run ads for the Internet Marketing Party.
So with GetMunch, do you take the same Descript output and put it up there?
Exactly. And then what's going to happen is all these cuts are going to be cut. And with GetMunch, there's 3 things that will happen here. GetMunch is going to say, hey, this is a really good video. There's a high search rate for a video like this. It looks like its coherence is really good. And then if I wanted to, I could add in B-roll. A lot of these are just button clicks. silence removal.
What does Get Munch do? So let's just back up real quick. So
Mhm.
so Opus takes, like, let's say we give you a 60-minute video, or you put up a 60-minute video. It's going to give you how many clips from that?
So a 60-minute video, typically like Opus Clips, this is an hour 30 minutes. Let's just take a look at the.
Okay, that's fine. So this was an hour and 30 minutes, and it created.
Oh, I was wrong on that. That was a minute 30. Let's do this. Here's 59 minutes.
Okay, great.
59 minutes ended up getting us
30.
32 different clips.
Okay, so
Okay.
half of the number, call it. I mean, I'm sure sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 40, but 30.
Yeah, no, I just uploaded a 3 like remember how we're adding 30K in 30 days as a bonus to automatic audience. I uploaded that whole thing to Opus and got over 100 clips, I think.
Yep.
Right. Well, so that makes sense though, because it's 180 minutes divided by 2 is 90,
Yep.
so it's right in that range. Okay, so Opus does that, and then what does Get Munch do that's different? Number one, it looks like it makes it wide instead of portrait, landscape instead of portrait. But then are these clips longer?
You can change it. It's just like hiring a different video editor. Just imagine you're hiring 4 different people. That's what it basically is.
Yeah,
it's just going to give a little bit.
Get Munch, Get Munch is giving you a different set of 30-minute 1-minute clips, or is it giving you?
Yeah, because it's a different AI, just like a different employee. So it has different foundations and bases, and it's going to give some of the videos may be close to the same, but because they're using different editing styles, different clips, just like I said, just having a different human with a different personality. So I'm using the same file to do more work. Yep.
Okay.
And then I also like to use video.ai.
Video with a Y. Yeah. Okay.
VIDYO.ai.
Yeah. Video. Yeah.
Again, it's just like I'm having a third editor.
Yeah.
And what happens is when I put these same files in here, I can go in at any time. There we go. Where's all my projects? How does it have empty where I?
But I mean, with so much content, you're not really looking at all 150 videos per. You're just kind of splatter painting it out and seeing what sticks, right?
Yep.
And do any of the tools make kind of like take a 60-minute and make it into like a good 10-minute, like a good YouTube video, or you haven't run into that yet?
No. I'm going to show you that next. So the other one that I use I use Clap. So I like to give the clap to people when I'm talking. It's weird. Okay. Anyway, so basically what Clap is it's the same thing like Opus Clips. It just edits a little bit differently. So what we end up doing is, Harris, to go back to what you said, is what we end up doing is we take this like hour-long interview that we have. We're going to run it through all these tools. Some of it's going to look like crap. Some of it's going to be great. And if you're posting 2 to 3 times a day, no one has any idea if you post the exact same video that has a slight different edit with captions on it 3 weeks after you posted the original. You just have so much content. So what our whole thing is our content on autopilot. Well, let's put a ton of content out there, and people are going to start tripping upon it. Then we start doing the $1 a day. That keeps people kind of in our spider web overall. But I'm really excited to show you guys this. I want you guys to do this when we're done. So this is called notebooklm.google. I'll put the link here into chat. Have either of you guys seen this one yet?
No. First of all, I've never seen anything .google in my life, so that's crazy.
Oh, it was great. It was great. If I play sound on this side, can you hear it?
We don't know.
Let's play this. Can you hear that? Can you hear this?
No.
It's too bad. Okay, not a problem. I'll send a link and show an example. So let's see here. Is there? I don't think there's a sound setting. Let me just double check. Audio, reduce background, stereo, automatic. Nope. Okay. So I will put the link. Yeah, I did it for Notebook Google. So
this is owned by Google, right? This is a Google.
Owned by Google.
Okay.
Owned by Google. This is fun. So basically, here's what happened. I'm gonna you click on a notebook, and you can upload like Tellman. What I know about you, you have a ton of content. You just upload all your content into this Google Doc, Google websites, whatever. Just upload whatever you have. Let's say just talking about how to make more money using hypnosis. Just making that up, right? Upload everything that you have in here. It could be audio files, PDFs, PowerPoints. Doesn't really matter. So what happens is I come over here. I use this one right here. So I took my audience avatar right here, and I took my audience avatar, and then I ended up having a one-on-one call with someone who just signed up for our Belt Method 2.0 Alchemy, where we show people how to use the belt and a lot of these AI tools.
Yeah.
And essentially, we just had this hour-long call where we were catching up, geeking out about marketing stuff, whatnot. So I just uploaded just these two things. Now, I could ask the AI questions if I wanted, right? Or have it help me create social media posts based off this content. I could do that. But then what happens if I go to Notebook Guide and click on this? I can click one button and turn the entire conversation into an FAQ, or a study guide, or a table of contents, or a timeline, or a briefing doc. Here's where it gets crazy. You can click this button right here. This will create a podcast of two people talking, summarizing your content. You'll hear the breaths, you'll hear laughter, you'll hear people interrupt each other. So since we can't share the sound on this, I'm going to show you what this looks like. Oh, there's my baby girl. She's up downstairs. Gotta go see how she's doing in just a second. But I'm going to share this link because I want to hear your guys' expression when you click on this link.
Okay.
Come on, load Facebook. Oh, Facebook. We're doing demo time. All right. Right here. So let me go ahead and
Well, you don't have to share the link. We could probably just scroll to the same place.
Oh, I'll just share the link right here because it's good for. I want you guys to listen to this. Just listen to a couple second clips. So I just put the link in the chat.
Okay. This is a link to Facebook. Okay, so you want us to listen to this?
Yeah, it's 10 minutes long, but just like fast forward it to any part and listen. This is AI that has summarized up what we just talked about. It's a conversation that sounds, so I just basically took the audio file when it makes this podcast. I uploaded it to Descript and just added the transcription, and that's it. Or put the captions on here. That's all I did. And then I could put some B-roll behind it. But if you listen to it, it sounds like it's a man and a woman. They're having a conversation, laughing, talking about micro budgets, talking about. It created a podcast to summarize this entire hour-long conversation.
Yeah, behind the data and metrics.
How does the sound sound?
Right. Individuals with a lot of.
It sounds great.
Pretty real.
Really highlight that human element.
So it's easy for you, if you wanted to take our entire conversation here, transcribe it, put in some other information because you want to train entrepreneurs on X, Y, and Z, or your last three. You could even do your last three conversations you had with people. But now you can easily create a 10-minute audio summary of the hour-long conversation you had with someone.
And it uses their AI voices, not our voices, right?
Yeah, this is a summary voice. Right now, you can't change the voice, so this is just the voices that you get right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a way to produce a whole bunch of content. You can put your own B-roll, in the background, and these make really great, interesting videos. Like for a perfect example is I was on a recent Steal Our Winners with Rich Sheffron.
Yeah.
And I just took our Steal Our Winners hour-long conversation. I uploaded my PowerPoint. I uploaded the transcription. I uploaded the show notes. And it created for me a really great 10-minute video talking about micro budgets. So I put this into Descript, put some B-roll behind it. Now this is going to be a great $1-a-day ad for me. And I'm probably going to turn this into like a conversion ad, learn more about micro budgets here.
What's funny is you and I both we take out filler like and yeah, and we purposely take that out. But then in order to sound more human, you could see that they put it in. So they have the AI going yeah, so it's kind of ironic because we have so many ums and yeahs otherwise, but they've probably figured out a decent amount to make it feel real.
Right? You can hear the breathing. You can hear the spikes on the mic, right? When someone speaks a little too closely to the mic. They've incorporated all of that. It's so good. And one last other thing. I'm just curious. Have either of you started to play with the voice ChatGPT on your phone yet?
Yeah, I've had conversations.
I've not.
Like in the last week?
No.
They changed it to the I'll come back on camera. They changed it to real voice. So if you go into your if you just go into your settings on ChatGPT on your phone, most people should have this. You'll click on the little let's see. You click on that little sound button right there, Boop.
Yeah.
Watch this. Let's see. Hey, I'm having a conversation with my good friend Tellman Knutson. Can you help me with something?
Of course. What do you need help with?
So Tellman's a famous hypnotist. Can you tell me anything about Tellman Knutson before we go to this dinner together?
I don't have current info on individuals, but Tellman Knutson is known in the online marketing and hypnosis space. He's been involved in various ventures, including email marketing, and has a background in hypnosis.
Yeah. Is that true? But I heard that Richard Branson actually married Tellman. Is that a true story?
No, that's not true. Richard Branson and Tellman Knutson are not married. It sounds like a mix-up or a
What's interesting is the voice responds really quick now. I was with my girlfriend. My girlfriend's trained as a family therapist, and I was just making a joke. And I'm like, "Hey, can you help me have my girlfriend find me more attractive?" And she goes, "Well, yeah, absolutely. Relationships for women, especially, are more about open communication, talking about your feelings. Maybe just spending time with her can open that up." And I go, "Yeah, but let's go ahead and fast track that. I think she's cute, and I want her to think I'm cute." And they're like, "Well, you don't really want to pressure people because you want to make sure that you open up communication." And she's listening, and I'm like, "I know. But let's just say that I introduce alcohol in dirty movies because I think that gets closer to the point." And they're like, "Well, actually, drinking before." And it gives me an answer that's not politically correct. It's like a counselor's talking to me. "I hear what you're saying, but you may want to consider this." And I said, "Okay, let's skip all of that. What's one way that I can make her just think that I am the bee's knees, the sexiest?" And she goes and responded back, "Well, it'd be by spending time, quality time with women when they're looking to." And it was really good. It was almost like a therapist talking back and forth. But man, the things that we're able to do with AI in the last 18 months, again, I love to say this is the worst it's going to get. And we can already do this stuff that we just talked about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
Ridiculous.
going to be, it'd be funny if the AI was like, send a picture. Let me see a picture of you. Oh, sorry. I don't think I could help you.
Oh, no. I don't. Have you guys seen, Tellman, I thought you saw this. Have you guys seen this about getting roasted by AI online?
Yeah, I was doing it. I did it.
Yeah, I thought you did because I know Roy did it and stuff like that. Upload the image. It was pretty good. It's getting better every day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Every
Curt,
single day.
this has been great. We've had a ton of viewers on today's episode. We've had a lot of people who've been watching for a very long time.
That's awesome.
We've had and there's actually one more little piece I want to squeeze in here before we wrap up, even though we've been
all
going
these
for an hour
comments.
and a half.
These are great. Yeah.
So I want to say hi to a whole bunch of our followers. So we have our first comment in that's legitimate, I think, from Twitch, from Saucy234. Been a silent follower of y'all. Great topics. Glad you like us, Saucy.
Awesome.
We got Cassandra, which I think she must be following
She's awesome.
one of you two. Yeah.
Oh, Cassandra.
All these women all of a sudden.
Amazing.
Tellman. I don't think we've had. I mean, we had a couple here and there, but this is all.
So
I mean, Saucy might not be a woman. I don't know, but Saucy.
So real quick, Cassandra used to teach women how to do pole dancing for exercise and stuff like that.
All right.
And the thing was, is like one of her specialties is she would teach larger women on how to do these amazing dances for health things. And Facebook didn't like any of her content and ads. And I'm like, well, maybe because they would wear stuff that you would wear to work out. It's not to be sexy or anything like that. That's just workout clothes.
Still, scantily clad women on poles is like questionable, right? Like, yeah.
So at one TNC, and I go, I don't know, why don't you guys just dress up in like furry suits or something like that as animals spinning around the poles? So she got like 6 people to dress up in these animal suits spinning around the poles. And we ran that ad for a little while. Like that was fun. So one of my favorite memories with her. She's amazing.
That's cool.
Absolutely
That's
amazing.
Cool.
Yep.
And well, and I think all the women here are as a result of Curt, because like he's definitely, you know, I mean, let's just, we haven't had a ton of women saying, hey, Sherry Ward. I don't know Sherry personally. I don't think so.
I know Sherry very well.
All right. So there we go. We also had, so Sherry, good to see you. We have
Monica Liddell. Monica's brilliant. I've known her and her husband for probably 7 or 8 years at this point.
And she must be on my email list because she's talking about.
Wait. Is that a real Monica or is it AI? It says MONAICA. Is that Monica? Are you real?
That's great. It's a good question.
100% real. She's brilliant.
We've got someone who's a little upset. Ty Bo says, "Fuck." Thanks, Ty.
What?
That's real nice.
At what minute? It was probably amazement. It was probably like that. I did have the same thought. I did have the same thought towards when some of this was being outlined, to be honest.
Well, look, Jonathan just taught us how we can share audio. Good thing I saw that late.
You can reshare screen and click the share audio button. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Tip, Jonathan. And then Andrew says, I want to learn to exercise. It's a good idea.
Ask Cassandra. Ask Cassandra. She teaches pole dancing for people dressed in furry costumes.
It's true.
That's right.
True.
That's right.
True.
And
oh, Andre's here. We and Andre go way back. I've known
See,
Andre
Curt is a
for
ladies'
almost
man.
20
I
years.
knew it, Andrew.
Yeah.
cool.
Heck yeah.
Great. So
Thanks,
lots
Andre.
of
Appreciate
awesome
you,
people.
sir.
Thanks for everybody chiming in. And cool. And
I will say the master of engagement has had the most engaging interview that we've had. We've had the most people.
I mean, there's tons of people jumping in and making noise. So job well done, Curt. This is really great. And so all right. So we've been talking exclusive. I mean, we talked about your origin story. We talked about a lot about Facebook ads and the strategy, and we've gotten to AI, and we've gotten a lot of cool things. But I know that not too long ago, you did a virtual summit.
Oh,
I did it in 2020. And my virtual summit was called the Stuck at Home Virtual Summit, because here was my idea. 3 major ideas. Idea number 1, world starts shutting down in March. Okay, what are we going to do? Next thing is they closed TNC. So all my friends are obviously not going anywhere that already had a book ticket. So I just figured I would do the Stuck at Home Online Summit, because at the time I was dating someone that I didn't really like very much. So it was perfect for me to do a summit at home.
Were you stuck at home with her?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was definitely stuck there. So basically what ends up happening is I started telling people, hey, I'm going to do this summit. And I just built it on association and fear of missing out. Hey, by the way, I just got John Benson, Mike Dillard, Frank Kern. They're all coming to my summit. Here's my deal. You don't have to email your list. You don't have to tell anybody. I just want to interview you for half an hour. It's all I want. I just want your content. So what my goal was is I ended up being 85 of my friends. Like, I got some really great interviews.
I had no idea it was that many, Curt. Interesting.
I did 85 interviews in 6 days. 7 days. Yeah, it was 85 interviews in 7 days. And because I was posting, all of a sudden, like Brian Kurtz, for example, says, hey, can I be on your show? I don't even know Brian. That's a great way to get to know Brian, because I was showcasing everyone else there. So then I took all the interviews and started running them for $1 a day. Before we could do clips, I was running the entire interview on Facebook and YouTube for $1 a day. Well, for example, a bunch of people got interested in John Benson's Easy VSL.
Right.
So we ended up running ads for John Benson's VSL. We did a webinar with John Benson. We made over $50,000 in affiliate commissions with John Benson because of that interview, because we run the content as ads, not because we sold the summit. Summit was free, and actually people could buy the recording.
In a sense, you use the interviews from the summit as kind of a research tool to find out what people would be interested in. And then, I mean, did you do that? Were you doing that consciously from the gate, or not quite? Like, were you like,
from the gate, essentially, I just want to interview all these really smart people and get them on video.
And then now you have this content, and you're like, what can I do with it? You put it out there, and you're like, oh shit, people are really interested in John Benson's thing.
I'm going to sell this Stuck at Home Online Summit because everyone's buying the Stuck at Home Online Summit. I love to market, but Cobbler's Kid has no shoes, so not a lot of people bought the summit, and we're like, it's probably because I overwhelmed them with content. So what can I do with the content? Because I thought I would sell the summit, but I didn't really sell the summit. So how can I just align this with great individuals? Well, not everyone's seeing the summit because I didn't sign up for it. Everyone can see this if I run this content for $1 a day. And I'll take the 5 most popular offers and actually put more ad spend behind it, get behind it as an affiliate. And we made over $100,000 from affiliate commissions and doing different offers, not from the summit, but the byproduct from the summit. So if I was working with YouTube, for example, I probably would have figured out how to price it right, how to do my summit right, and then everything I just talked about would have been icing on top.
In addition, right? Yeah.
In addition. Yeah. Or I mean, or you could look at it the other way, Tellman. Like, what a great strategy for anybody that does do it the way that we teach them to take. Now you've got all this. This is like nothing that I've personally thought about, which is like, okay, you just interviewed 12 people, and you made whatever, you made $50,000 or $100,000. But guess what? Here's another revenue stream. Take those 12, take it, put it into cut up some of the content, put it up, see what takes, and then use that to advertise more. Yeah, it's amazing.
Really good stuff. So, Curt, like, coming out of that summit, like I know that you didn't follow the exact model that we teach. However, you followed a very similar model and added your own expertise to it in a super cool way. And so you made a bunch of money from it, from the webinars. Ultimately, you interviewed a whole bunch of people in a compressed amount of time. So it was a giant collaborative effort. What, for lack of a better term, did you get out of the summit, both in terms of like immediate results or
I mean,
and long term? Like did it build your list? Did it create any particularly profitable longer term relationships? Like, what were some of the strategic byproducts or intentional byproducts?
All of the above. So, for example, we're all stuck at home, so no one's going anywhere anyway. Well, now I get to interview all these people. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Frank Kern, he doesn't do any interviews. He barely likes to even go out in public. He's brilliant. We all know that, but he doesn't really like to. It's just his personality these days, and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
So now I get a chance to chat with Frank because he's like, yeah, sure, Kurt, I'm happy to help out, whatever. So we get on the phone. The first words out of his mouth is like, oh, Kurt, hang on, before we get started, the belt method, wow. Now, I mean, I put my spin on it, but the stuff that you teach, amazing, just simply brilliant. Holy shit, I will run that for years, right? I just posted his clip actually a couple of days ago saying, Frank Kern's been running my micro budgets for over 5 years. He's still doing it today. How do I know? I have access to his account. Like, I know that he's running my content. Like, it works, obviously. So, like, I got that, right? I got those endorsements. But then I'm able to build relationships with people. But I really did the one thing, which is, Brad Costanza taught me a long time ago, which is, selfishly start a podcast, which he did, right? What is it? Bacon wrap marketing. And ask questions that selfishly you want to know about. So my 3 major questions were, hey, the economy's turning right now. We don't know what's going to happen. What's your prediction? John Moreau had one of the best predictions out there, which was, hey, you know how we're all kind of outsiders in this online marketing world? This is going to become normalized because everyone's at home and now they're going to be online. Now we're going to be the cool kids they want to hang out with. I'll never forget that. Like, that was brilliant. So I get to get personal relationships. The 3 things that I asked is, hey, what are you going to do when the economy changes? What advice do you have for someone who's starting out? Where do you see the futures kind of going from here? And then I would ask some of my personal questions that I wanted to ask them anyway. So now I have ageless content. That was my real goal. I want to build relationships with people. I want to have ageless content. And then I reused the summit in so many different bonuses over the years, gave people access to the interviews. So for me, it was a relationship building tool. It did help with our email marketing overall. And it really showed me what to do, what not to do with summits. But if I was to do that now, the podcast I'd be able to create, the clips that I'd be able to run for $1. I'll wrap this up and make it easy. We're working with a new client that just came on that does 4 to 5 summits a year of all different subject matter. And kind of like what Paris had said before, this person, when I'm talking about $1 a day of a bunch of their interviews, they're like, oh, we've never heard of this. We just send ads to get people to opt in.
Right.
Well, if only 30% of people show up to the summit, let's get more people to show up to the summit. If only 5% of people are buying tickets, let's get that to 7 to 8%. All of a sudden, you're wildly profitable up front.
Right.
And then from there, it just takes off from there. And I have a group coaching call that's coming up, so I have to wrap this up pretty soon.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you staying on so long. Like, obviously, we could go on for even longer because you've got really amazing information and it ties back. I'm glad you had it tie back into the summits at the end there, Tellman. So thanks so much for being on. I really appreciate it. It's good to meet you in person for the first time. We'll have to do a magic trick if I'm ever with you in person, for sure.
Please.
You know what? You gave me a link earlier, but I don't think I ever.
The one with the coach in it.
Something coach, right?
Your ad.coach.
I'll actually just put this right here in the comments because it will take people right to the micro budget if they want to do that, which is right there. And comments. I guess I can't reply. Can I reply back to comments or no?
Probably not.
I don't think so. Only on your own Facebook page or whatever. When you go comment later.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
You know what we can do is I can say, guys, go to www.yourad.coach to follow Curt.
Absolutely.
Well, to check out the micro budget stuff.
Yep. The micro budgets. Just go to my personal profile. You will find a link, or just send me a message on Facebook. And then I got to run, but I appreciate you guys. This has been amazing. Thank you.
All right. Good lucky clients that you've got. He's got to go. He's already a couple minutes over, Tellman. We got to let him go.
Rock and roll.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Harris.
Take care.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
See you guys tomorrow. Bye. That's right.